I think every parent has looked at their child at some point in their life and asked, what's wrong? Sometimes you get an answer, but most of the time that answer is a simple nothing. Well, today, Master Mom Amanda Olson is here with some advice on how to get your child to open up and get those lines of communication going with your child. Appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, good morning.
This is a universal, I think this is a pretty universal problem.
Yes, it's something every parent is going to go through for sure.
I mean, I think I went through it last night with one of mine. But how do you, I mean, you know, you get that nothing, but you also see, you know, there's some emotions on their face and things of that nature. How do you get that line of communication?
Well, I think the first thing is to try to determine why they're not talking to you. You know, and there's a couple of reasons, and it varies through the different age groups.
Right.
You know, so one reason they may not want to tell you what happened in their day or what's going on is they might be really embarrassed about it. You know, sometimes if they're going through a bullying or being picked on or people just aren't being nice to them, they can start to feel like something is wrong with them and they don't want to talk about it because they're ashamed or embarrassed. So that's one thing. Another thing is they might be afraid of your reaction. You know, if I tell them what happened, are they going to get really upset at another person? Are they going to get upset at me? You know, and they're trying to just prevent that emotional outburst that sometimes as parents we have. And the third reason, and this is more for your older child and even young adults, is they don't want to burden you. You know, they might, at this point in their life, they see that you actually have a life and you have your own stresses and they don't want to burden you with what's going on in their life. So trying to determine maybe why they're not talking about, you know, when you see that they're not happy or they've had some behavior changes, trying to figure out why they're not telling you, and then you can kind of go from there.
And you say you get this question a lot from a lot of parents.
I do. They're like, I don't know what's wrong. They won't tell me. You know, that's pretty common. But you know, if it's 1 day or 2 days here or there, you know, that's not something to be concerned about. You know, but if it's continuing, you know, like you can tell some behaviors have been changing in them, and something really is wrong. You do have to really stop and reassure them that, hey, I know something's not going completely right. I'm not going to get upset. You know, you're not going to get in trouble. I know I can help you. So let's just talk about it, and then let them talk. And they may give you just a tiny little window, and that'll at least let you know maybe what's going on and how you can follow up with that. You know, you don't want to push too hard, especially if they're embarrassed, but just kind of let them know that you're there as a support. And sometimes what they tell you is pretty tough, and you know, to hold on to your emotions and not get upset, you know, that's the real challenge sometimes.
I think sometimes we all have to step back sometime and count to 3, take a deep breath and say, let me have it. You know, and be able to accept it and then try to deal with it on a mature level.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about maturity. You mentioned it briefly, is I think the older that the children get, the more this becomes an issue.
Yeah, one of the things, you know, I remember raising my kids when they were older, is one of my kids was going through something pretty tough, and you know, I was too at the time. And later they told me, well, I didn't want to put more pressure on you or upset you, you know, and that, as a parent, that just really hit home, like, whoa, I haven't been accessible to you, you know, and just to let them know, no matter what's going on in my life, you're a priority to me, and we will figure it out together. We don't need to keep our things separate, because we need each other. And
I think sometimes as they get older and they get into their teenage years, they start to say, well, I am a grown person, I am independent, I don't need your help anymore. And sometimes you have to say, okay, then you take care of this. And that's sometimes, for a parent, that's difficult to do.
It is. It's difficult to watch your children make a mistake, but sometimes it's the only way to learn. You know, we want to protect them, obviously, from big mistakes that can be life-altering, you know,
or life-threatening.
But you know, in relationships, sometimes they'll send a text instead of doing something in person, and the consequences of that, they won't do that again.
But it's important to keep those lines of communications open.
Yeah, just let them know. Let them know that you're a safe place to come to.
All right. Amanda Olson, thank you so much. Great advice. Hey, sometimes you just got to say, you just got to step back and take a deep breath and go on with your life. But keep those lines of communications open, and they can help you right there at Olson's Martial Arts Academy and AskMasterMom.com as well. And there's a number if you want to give them a call today.
The preceding portion of Daytime Tri-Cities was sponsored by... Are you